Among the less dispensable adjuncts of modern civilization to the average man is canned music, which attends him through all his waking hours and wherever he goes. The contemporary reluctance to endure a moment's silence has been the fortune of the record industry, whose job is the somewhat precarious one of keeping hundreds of millions of turntables all over the world profitably supplied with records, an operation which requires a nice combination of business acumen, gambling sense, technical skill, and sheer lunacy.
All right, cut. Cut. I heard a noise.
That was us.
Sounded like a cap pistol.
Charlie, I told you to quit chewing that gum.
All right, boys, we'll do another one. Quiet.
Stand by. Roll 'em.
Fruits of the record industry are the hundreds of millions of records sold each year, ranging from the loftiest of classics to low-down gut bucket. In both the United States and the United Kingdom, the great bulk of the recordings sold, some 80%, are of popular tunes played sweet and smooth. A small but intense minority of the industry's customers are real fans who work at record collecting with tireless energy and close discrimination. Many of these are addicts of hot jazz in its more erudite forms, such as today's bebop. Members of this consecrated band are apt to spend much of their time shuffling through second-hand shops in search of rare records. Preserved on wax in such shops is the whole history of the industry, back to the turn of the century when the Edison talking machine was the newest scientific marvel.
Hallelujah chorus from the Messiah, played by the Edison Concert Band.
Turning from the cylindrical record to the disc, the gramophone company in Britain and Victor and Columbia in the United States began to prosper. The gramophone became an industry rather than a curiosity. To a famous trademark used by both companies, Gramophone and Victor rallied an impressive lineup of concert and opera stars. Soon, Enrico Caruso and John McCormack were fixtures in millions of homes. Within a few years, popular music became, and ever after remained, the mainstay of the industry. In return, records helped to build the fame of outfits like the Dixieland Jazz Band. Recording was acoustical and sound was pretty crude, but nobody seemed to care much until the 1920s, when competition from the newborn radio industry became tough. By then, a group of American scientists applying the principles of radio to the gramophone had found out how to reproduce sound electrically with what seemed dazzling fidelity. For the first time, much of the sonority of a big orchestra could be captured on records. And as the industry hastened to change over, Paul Whiteman became the band leader-elect of the 1920s in the United States. Many Whiteman records were among the best sellers of all time, but despite this, the lush days of the American industry were over. Business, which had gradually been dropping off since 1921, came up against the Great Depression and collapsed entirely. The record industry seemed about done for when colleges all over the United States began throbbing to the mellow vibrations of an historic set of tonsils.
Sweet Leilani, heavenly flower.
With Bing Crosby as its big name and with a line of low-priced records, the brash new Decca Company jolted the U.S. industry into cutting prices to the collective benefit of all.
I think that...
Then the nickel-in-the-slot jukebox, long popular in American dives, began catching on with the general public and soon became an insatiable consumer of records.
Sweet Leilani, heavenly flower.
Once started upward from its low point of 1932, business kept on improving. Passing the previous all-time peak early in the 40s, record production in the United States alone rose to an estimated 325 million in 1947. To help in the build-up had come the public's enthusiastic discovery of swing, which launched the present fame of many a hot band like Eddie Condon's. By the 40s, classical recordings, which had accounted for a relatively small part of sales, had in many cases climbed up into the bestseller brackets as the public got acquainted with great music via the radio. The records of so aristocratic and serious an artist as Jascha Heifetz sold by the millions.